Okay, hey, this is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. The other night, that would have been Thursday night, today's Saturday morning, and it's like 8. I'm out early because it looked really nice out this morning, but it's not. It's cold, and the wind's coming out of the north. I think there's a huge iceberg up there they're blowing wind over it, and it's cold, but it is nice and sunny and bright. And I got out early to get my feeding done and stuff, because we're going to do something. And while I'm waiting for to be summoned to breakfast, I'm just going to stay busy. This is kind of the routine. There's the sun. Ooh, feels like a warm blanket being put over me. I don't have my long johns on. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the compost pile that I started last year, and it's ready this year. And if you give it a lot of thought, it's pretty exciting, really. Now, I was thinking about it enough to talk to you about banking it up with snow. And I guess I'm thinking enough about it because I've worked with it enough to know how valuable it is in an operation like this. This operation is real diverse, and you know that bumper sticker that says coexist, right? I think about that when I think about this place. All the beings that are on here, all the animals and the plants and all that stuff has to all coexist. They all have to get along, and they all have to thrive. That's the idea, that they thrive. They're in an environment where, you know, you get up in the morning, you hit the floor, and you just can't wait to get going. And you're not just beating your head against the wall. Every move that you make, you're getting a gain out of it, you know. It's a force multiplier is what they call it in the military. And so compost is one of those things. Because as I've told you before, everything is based on a molecular level out here. If you can look into it that deeply, everything starts at a molecular level, and then it works its way up, and then you have microbes and protozoa, bacteria, all that stuff. And if the soil is good, most other things will do well too. Occasionally you're going to get something that's out of balance, and then it's your job as the steward of this to try and figure out what's wrong. And you know, I've recently had a problem that I've had to figure out, and I'll get into that another time. But I knew that there was an answer to the problem. I knew there was an answer, and it wasn't like, you know, I'm never going to find out what the problem was. You will find out what the problem is, and you will get it solved. And I believe we have it solved. And then we're going to backtrack and find out, why did this happen, and what's the permanent fix on this, you know. Kind of like in the medical world where, you know, you're sick and they treat the symptoms and the symptoms go away. Well, is that really what you want to do? On a place like this, we want to be able to walk away from this and then have it thrive. You know, if I'm here pounding chemicals into the soil and pounding drugs into the animals just to make them look good, that's not what we want. And that's not what you want to go in your body, so that, you know, you can spend a lot of time keeping your body healthy. But sometimes you got to go to work, and you got to do other things. You got to have fun, and you know, you want your body to thrive on its own. Well, anyway, it starts right here, and this is the great force multiplier right here. This is the pile that I started making last year, and I'm just utilizing it right now. And I'm going to show you something in a minute. I've got to show you this because I can tell you this, but you might think, yeah, right. There's a bucket load that I'm putting on here, and the reason I'm doing that is I'm taking it over to the garden. And I don't have a really nifty spreader, but that's on my list of things to have, because what I'd really like to do is make more compost, more diverse compost, and be able to drop it in a spreader with that tractor and with my other little tractor. Be able to take it everywhere on the farm and spread it in a, a nice way, not big globs and, so you have to rake it out and everything. I'd like to be able to put it down right on the front lawn, and because it does such a nice job and it is so beneficial. But here it is. There's a picture of the house garden or Jill's garden, and every one of those lines represents a trip over, and then I just tip the bucket down and vibrate it, and it just falls off. And I've already brought one over today. I did the other ones last night. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk about compost and this particular pile. I did go over and break open the other pile. You see it over there. That's the one I made the other night. And I wanted to see if it was working. And sure enough, it was. It didn't exactly billow steam, but it did steam. So I know that it's making heat. And like I said, with compost, it's sort of an art. You have to know. I got a phone call, and it was Mike Osterhart. He can't be watching this video or he wouldn't have called me. Mike, I'll get back to you later. You have to know when to kind of pour on the coals on it. And it's compost is sort of like lighting a campfire in a way. When you put the match down there, if you go to blowing on it right there, you blow the match out and it won't get started. But once it gets going a little bit, you can blow into it and it'll really take off. Well, with the compost pile, if it's just barely making heat and you start to aerate it, you'll put it out. And you don't want that. So I broke it open a little bit this morning, turned a few shovelfuls of it, and I did see some steam coming out of it, so I'm just going to let it sit. It's going to have warm sun on it today, and that'll be nice. But this compost pile right here is complete. It is cured, what they call. And like I told you the other night, if I pick up some of this and I squeeze it, it's almost like fudge. And it smells good. It smells like the forest floor. So this has a lot of things in it. It has a lot of leaves. It has manure. There's a skull right there, so you must have had a dead pig that went into it. And I know that we butchered a cow and her entrails went into it. But that was a while ago, and it's completely broke down. Skulls take a while. But the compost pile is basically going to be your first stop when you bring stuff onto your farm that you want to reduce. You want to reduce them back down to the molecular level so you can introduce it back into the ecosystem here. That's probably a good way to say it. One of these days, I'm going to take you over and show you our outhouse, or they call it an in-house because it's not just a hole in the ground where you're disposing of your waste. We're actually collecting our waste. That sounds kind of gross, but we want this pile to be as diverse as possible. And, there's some people that will argue that using human manure gives your body a chance to recycle it one more time. And there's stuff that your body breaks down the first time, but then there's nuts in there that have to be cracked again the second time. Can't prove that one in a court of law. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to fire up the tractor here so there's not going to be a lot of sound, and I'm going to take this over to this load of pigs right here. And I'm going to drop this compost in there with them. And you watch what they do. Now, if I brought over a bunch of pig manure to them and dropped it in, they'd sniff through it a little bit and then they'd ignore it. They're completely fed. They get fed last night, and I can still see they have quite a bit of feed on the ground. And so that's not it. But they're going to go through this because their little bodies are telling them something here we need. So, okay, let's watch this. Apologize for the noise, but I don't have a hybrid tractor. I'm going to get one, though. This one's just diesel. Okay, here we go. I'm going to turn the camera around and let you watch where I'm going. What I should do is I should get like a helmet cam. These bird houses, and they're quite active. Ooh, I got to make sure my fingers aren't in the way here. So here I am going into the produce area. Gate right here, and they're all kind of congregated in front of it. When they hear the tractor, it's the dinner bell. I guess I can talk about the problem. They're really enjoying it. Okay, now what are we going to deduce from this? For years, I have said that the key to a diverse ecosystem on your farm is to bring in vegetation from other places, you know, like anytime that you go someplace, try to bring back a couple of buckets of something and feed that to your farm. These guys are eating that because there's something in it they need. And if you look at them, well, they're the ones that had the mange, so they're not in the greatest shape right now. But most of my other pigs have nice shiny coats on them, nice wet noses, sparkling eyes, just like my children. And it's because I make things available to them. Like I'll drop a hay bale in here, I'll drop a straw bale, and they will go through it, and they'll eat quite a bit of it. And then they're getting, you know, organic feed, the best you can get. But I don't have to use any drugs on them. This mange thing, it's actually a parasite. And we were pretty sure that it came in with some pigs that we brought back to the farm that we know were fed hog chow. We're pretty sure that's where it came from. There's no way to know, but we've never really had it before, so I would say that that's a pretty good chance of that. So I wonder if we should be putting some of this compost in little capsules, because I've tried to eat it and it's not that good. It's not that good. But if I put it in a capsule, I think, like a gel cap, and wolf that down, I wonder what would happen. And maybe in my next video, I will show that. But anyway, I got things to do, and I think they're calling me for breakfast. So, this is Mark from Baker's Green Acres. Remember, anyone can farm. Please like and share this. Facebook is being pretty good to us. They're pretty good to us. You know, a lot of channels are getting censored very heavily, and but Facebook wants this Facebook Live thing to go and catch on, and we like it, and they're improving our reach. But please give us a like and a share, and that will multiply us.